Welcome back to another episode of the Main Quest podcast. This is, of course, the #1 retro gaming podcast that's low poly but still runs on original hardware. And you are, of course, listening to episode 118, and as always, hello, I am your host, Keith. And since you are listening to this, you are, in fact, already supporting the show. But if you would like to go beyond and get some extracurricular stuff in return, feel free to join the Patreon. There's episodes on there that you're not going to hear here on the main feed, including full-length episodes on Castlevania: Symphony of the Night, or something like Boyfriend Dungeon, or the Earthbound Halloween hack, that was a weird one, along with some exclusive series, random side episodes like the time I talked about ghost hunting, and a lot more. Tiers start at only $1. Patreon.com/TheMainQuest. Patreon.com/TheMainQuest. Or you can just check out the link in the show notes. With that said, I'm excited. I'm happy, if you can't tell. I'm eager to let you guys hear this one. I sat down with none other than Coury Carlson from My Life in Gaming, and we not only talked about the game du jour, but we get into how he and Try got into reviewing tech on YouTube, how their channel has evolved, and just gaming habits in general. One thing I wish I had brought up was his involvement in the documentaries that he's created, so I guess I'll just mention them up top here. So just this past December, he dropped Pixels to Pages, the story of Electronic Gaming Monthly, and several years ago, he was part of an in-depth look at the conception and release of Night Trap. And you know what? Maybe we were better off not talking about that stuff in addition to the stuff that we were already talking about, because this episode already ran long enough. I already took up enough of this man's time. But he has agreed to come back. He will be back on the show. And so we can probably nerd out about that stuff then. But right now, let's do it. We got an episode. Let's talk about Out of This World.
It's funny because I weirdly have felt a lot of pressure about this game specifically for this because I like it so much. I'm like, man, I really want to be prepared as best as I can for this.
Good.
I don't know. It's like it's weird because I know that, you know, like based on like what I was seeing in the Google Doc, you know, a lot of people that the retro recollections didn't really like it that much. Or I guess Master Keaton did. Some other people did.
I don't want to spoil anything. I have mixed feelings.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I hated this game. So,
well, if you're mixed now, then maybe it sounds like maybe your opinion has improved a little bit.
Yeah. So as these episodes tend to go, we just kind of roll into the episode. Okay. And so I guess I'll take this time to introduce you. I'm very happy to welcome, for the first time on the program, director, podcaster, YouTuber, and obviously gaming enthusiast, and someone that can tell you the difference between whatever scanline and shader filters you're using. It is Coury Carlson. How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on here. It's I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite games of all time.
So it's been a while since I've had a first-time guest. I have a lot of repeat offenders doing their time here on the show. And before we dig into what we're going to talk about tonight, I wanted to pick your brain about some of the stuff that you do on the internet. And sure. I'm gonna start by stroking you off here a little bit because I mean this isn't the first time we've worked on something together. Mm-hmm. We collaborated together. The first time we interacted was on Retro Hangovers King of Games. I think that was 92.
Yeah.
And that was a treat because I got to tell you that Mega Man 5 was better than Night Trap, which was a very brave thing for me to say to you.
I think that I said that it was better too. Like, I think ultimately, I think, you know, we just kind of voted like this is probably for the best.
And since then, I mean, we've done a couple other episodes together on that project. But I want to tell you how I was first introduced to My Life in Gaming because it actually ties into this very program. Because when I started this, I wanted to make sure that I was playing all of my retro games in the purest way possible, using modern displays because I don't have a CRT or anything. I'm also using a lot of like retro mini consoles, and those aren't exactly the best way to play some of this stuff, but it's what I've got. And found you and Try, My Life in Gaming. And after spending a couple $100 here and there, I think I'm doing okay because of you guys. But yeah, man. So, I mean, tell us what My Life in Gaming is in case somebody doesn't know what you guys do. You know, where did that come from? Yeah.
So, me and Mark Triforce Duddleson, we're met through this website called the Backloggery, which he is one of the co-founder of. It's just a game collecting and I guess, game, to track the games that you've finished or have played through, you know, and you see ending credits, etc. We both were video production, professionals, and, we were both working at places that we weren't super excited about the stuff that we were working on. So we decided to, you know, take our passion and like make it a video series. And at first we were thinking, oh, these would just be tightly edited videos about games that we like, you know, and about a year into the channel, we did a video about this upscaler device called the FrameMeister, and that will make your old games look good on HD TVs, and that really resonated with a lot of people at the time. I think that we got lucky because we were very much in the right place at the right time. And we made made the subject matter accessible for people, and they could go and, you know, because usually, I guess at that time, if you wanted to research this stuff, you'd search the internet and you just find walls of text. So we wanted to break it down and make it easy enough to understand that anybody could kind of get into it. And I think that just like really hit with a lot of people. And in some ways, it opened up the passions for the medium that I think that a lot of people didn't even know that they had. And it's just kind of crazy how that whole scene has just exploded in the, 13 years since we've been doing this. It's absolutely insane. There's just so much stuff now. And even though a lot of people are a lot more prolific than we are at this point, we are very lucky that we were there early on. And I think that a lot of people, you know, like we've been kind of grandfathered into like everything now, I guess, because we've been at it for so long, even though there's people that are way more like on the cutting edge and just like coming out with videos constantly about different devices. And, you know, like our output has slowed down, but our output is also expanded in length significantly since we first started. I mean, we look at those early episodes and our whole thing was like, oh, it's got to be under 10 minutes, and then it's got to be under 15 minutes. And now it's like, oh, this is somehow turning out to be 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I was trying to go back and see like, what was my first video that I watched of you guys? And then looking at some of the length, and I'm like, 40 minutes. I'm like, that's not the My Life in Gaming I know now.
It's crazy. And, you know, it's kind of sad that we are not nearly as efficient and, you know, condensing things down to the way that we used to. But people seem to like it.
You guys are thorough though, you know.
Yeah, as thorough as we can be. I mean, we take a lot of pride in trying to just throw as much stuff at it as we can. And, you know, Mark's very, very good at that kind of stuff. And he, it's very funny looking at those old videos and seeing, you know, the stuff that he found, that we both found important, I guess. But then, you know, we both found our like kind of like niches inside of what we do. You know, he gets like really in the weeds with stuff, And I'm more like, I want to try this thing with as many things as I can and test it at a base level. But he'll go into like, I want to try every variant of this thing and match them up against each other. It's just, it's fun because I don't feel the kind of pressure that he probably does now. Where he's like, oh man, I need to like really get into this stuff. And he gets a lot of enjoyment out of that. But mine is, I'm more like, I want to just throw a bunch of stuff at this and see what works and what doesn't. And it's good because he's a very good writer and he can, and I really struggle with writing, I guess. So scripting. So that's where we're at now. It's like not as many videos as we'd like to, but people still like what we do, which is, I feel very fortunate.
Quality over quantity,
Yeah.
And like you said, you're getting beefy episodes too, when they do drop. How do you guys keep up with everything that's coming out? Because like, as you said, it feels like that part of the industry has kind of exploded the past like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's always some sort of new third party thing coming out, new brands and all sorts of stuff. Like, how do you guys keep up with that?
I mean, a lot of it, a lot of times people tell us about it directly. I try to pay attention as much as I can. Especially with, video podcasts like the Retro RGB Weekly Roundup, which is vital for that kind of thing. It will have all the little tidbits from the week. But a lot of times it's just people in our community saying, hey, did you check this out? And the thing is, I'm 47. I got 2 kids, one's a teenager and one's on the cusp of becoming a teenager. And I don't have the mind space for a lot of this as much as I used to. I can't just like dial in and, just scour the internet for all kinds of like new things or try every single thing that's coming out. But, I feel very fortunate that a lot of people will just tell us what's going on. At this point, it's good. It's good because, our Discord, which is, for, supporters like Patreon and YouTube supporters, it's very active. We're tagged in a lot of stuff and then we can decide whether it's something that interests us or not. Very nice. Yeah. Always nice when other people have their finger on the pulse. And yeah. You're like, yeah, we'll talk about that. Definitely. Exactly. I do the best that I can, but like I said, my mind share for a lot of this stuff has definitely diminished over the last decade of doing it, just because I just have like more things to do, like family, and like I do have like I have a day job and stuff like that. So you can only do so much, It's a lot to take in, like I said, I mean, even when I was starting the podcast and looking into what upscalers I can get and, what's the best thing to eliminate lag or button inputs and stuff like that. Right. Even then, like back in, was like 2019, like you said, there's just like tons of articles, people kind of like pushing you in one direction and another person be like, no, you really don't want to go with the retro tank. You want to go with this. Right. But not really explaining why. And when they do explain why, I'm a caveman. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So when I could go to, My Life in Gaming and you guys are explaining it, you're also showing it and you're showing the differences in all of these electronics. And obviously you guys aren't just like doing upscalers, but you're also doing like the other, like, what do you call them? FPGA consoles. Right. Yeah. Stuff like that. Like there's a Mr. Video and stuff like that. Yeah. And, we also like to just talk about games a lot too. It's right. Every year we do a roundup of like all the games that we played throughout the year, which, sometimes those videos are popular, sometimes they're not. But for a lot of the people that have been watching our channel for a long time, they look forward to that video dropping every year. Cause since 2017, we've released that video on New Year's Eve. And I feel like that's the only thing that that's the only commitment that we haven't screwed up at this point. Like time wise, like we've always been able to release that on time on New Year's Eve. And the people have been watching our channel for a long time. That is one of their most look for like anticipated videos of the year. And people say, "Oh, how do you play so many games in a year?" And like with Try, it makes sense. I mean, he's not married, he has no kids, so he can make time for it. But for me, it's like I will prioritize playing games because I know that that video is going to come out at the end of the year, and I can't. It's got to be about equal, right? The timing in it has to be about equal. So I know that I have to have games to talk about in that video. And, a lot of it, a lot of those games I don't finish. A lot of them I do. Like Try only talks about games that he finishes because he's real good about that kind of stuff. And I finish a lot of games, but there's a lot of games that I will only play it for, 2-3 hours. And, I still put those in there just because, I would have so much less stuff to talk about than he does. But when you know that there's people looking forward to that kind of thing, you think, oh, I need to carve out time to play games so that I can talk about this stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's like a job, but not a job, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I get it.
I mean, it's partly a job, but it's also, it's fun, but I need to plan out what I'm doing.
Well, speaking of playing games, and I swear we'll get into what we're supposed to actually be talking about. I always have to ask first-time guests, and I'm surprised I don't know this about you. What is your favorite game of all time?
My favorite game of all time is probably Space Harrier.
The
Sega Superscalar game. Any version of it I like. Well, especially the arcade version and the Sega Master System versions are my two favorite. That's the game that just made me fall in love with video games. I saw it in an arcade and I couldn't believe what I was looking at. And it was my number one priority every time I went to the mall. Had to play more Space Harrier. And, that's the whole reason I ended up getting a Sega Master System for Christmas in 1986 or 87. And, then I was like a Sega kid from that point forward until, I don't know. My brother had an NES, but I was devoutly anti Nintendo for a while, even though I played as much as I could on it. Among my friends, we had to I was the big Sega fan, and I played games like Phantasy Star, which brought me even further into just loving the company. And to this day, I just love the way that a lot of Sega games make me feel. There's just something really cozy about them and just familiar. Something about the music in those old Sega games are better than most other games. I don't know. But it all goes back to not Phantasy Star, Space Harrier.
You must have been a huge Sega fan because you're one of the very rare Americans that had a Master System. So
yeah. I mean, I loved Space Harrier so much that was the whole reason I got a Master System. I asked for a Master System, and I still love that. I love that Master System version of Space Harrier, even though it's kind of janky.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just plays extremely well and looks really good. But I don't understand why anybody wouldn't like Space Harrier. I don't want to talk to those people.
Have you played X Zodiac? It's an indie game.
Yeah.
So
X Zodiac is.
You know about those Space Harrier sections?
Right. Yep. The
oh man, it's
ones.
so cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, really good. There was another one that another PC game that came out last year called Ashura the Striker, which is very Space Harrier like. And that formula is not easy to replicate because, Yu Suzuki tried to do a follow-up kind of game called Air Twister a couple years back, and it was just way too slow. It just did not have the feel, did not have the speed. But that Ashura the Striker is really nails that Space Harrier feel and injects a little bit of afterburner climax in there, which is great. Super good game, and it's only on Steam as far as I know right now.
Why don't we dive into what we're actually here for? And that is to talk about, as we know it here, Out of This World.
your podcast feel underleveled? Sick of content that doesn't overclock your ear holes? Crack open a cold can of Hell Piss Zero Mercy. It might sound like an energy drink, but it's actually the main quest Patreon attacking your nervous system. For less than the cost of a loose copy of Perfect Weapon, you'll get bonus episodes recorded in an abandoned KB Toys. Early access to episodes before you even know you want them. Listen as your host Keith researches and revisits and re-evaluates retro games with a mix of sarcasm, sincerity, and that thing scientists call good podcasting.
No actual scientists are consulted in the making of this podcast. Good podcasting is not a medically recognized condition, and any resemblance to sincere analysis is purely coincidental.
We gave the main quest Patreon to a test group. We're still sorting out the consequences.
Ever since I joined the Patreon for the Main Quest podcast, Keith has unleashed the beast in me. Ever since the Primal Rage episode, I now go to random children's birthday parties in an inflatable T-Rex costume to brighten their day. And if
The Patreon gave me emotions. I do not want them. Please kill me.
It's okay to like a video game.
Join now before the algorithm bans it for being too powerful. Link in the show notes, or scrawl main quest in blood on your nearest Wii U gamepad and whisper Keith 3 times into the mic.
Hell Piss trademark has not been evaluated, approved, or acknowledged by any real government agency. Side effects may include stick drift, polygonal hallucinations, involuntary bricking, aggressive XP drip, LAN party flashbacks, emotional damage caused by hot takes, spontaneous quick time events, and a strong desire to rank every Gex game. Do not consume if you are pregnant, wear deodorant, or currently dating. Contact Dr. Mario if symptoms persist. May permanently overwrite your taste profile. Void where prohibited. So, as I like to start every podcast, I want to talk about our previous history with the game prior to coming to it for the podcast. And I'm eager to know what your previous history with the game is, as we kind of hinted towards it at the top of the show. So why don't you kick us off?
Yeah. So I was maybe familiar with this game from seeing it in magazines back in the day. And a friend of mine got this game for Christmas when it came out. So that would have been 92, I think. It came out on the Super Nintendo.
Yes.
And I was at his house and I saw it and I was like, I need to have this. And I, found myself a few days later at Toys R Us. And I spent some of my Christmas money on this, on Out of This World. And it slowly became one of my favorite games of all time, where I just would go back to it all the time. And it's such a breezy playthrough once you know exactly what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, I think that I saw it as like, very much in the same vein as like a Prince of Persia. That's the feeling that it gave me. But the alien style of everything really hooked me, I would say. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I just would play this game all the time. Just because I could come home from school and I could play through it. Because once you learn it pretty good, you can beat it in less than an hour. Yeah,
for sure. Mine's not as loving. So I didn't own this game growing up. It was a rental. The local video store that I went to would just have like 4 shelves of rotating games to select from. And sometimes there just wasn't a lot to choose from because I played everything already. And so it would just kind of lead me to just rent leftovers or games that I looked at where I was just like, I don't know if I want to play this. But so yeah, it was the one game that I hadn't played on the shelf. So I was like, all right, let's rent this. Let's finally see what this is all about. And I mean, I was I couldn't believe it was a video game when I saw it. I was like, this is insane. Like I had never seen anything. And this is the Super Nintendo version, by the way. So it was like, I didn't really dabble in PC or anything like that. I don't think we had the Sega CD yet.
No, it was, I think on the Atari ST or something like that before or after this. I mean, I didn't know anybody with an Amiga, which was the primary platform, or the first platform for this. I mean, for those that don't know, Out of This World is also known as Another World everywhere else in the world. And I think that it's the reason they had to change the name was because there was a soap opera called Another World.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like a month later, there was a TV show, like another TV show that came out that was called Out of This World. So it didn't really work out for them.
So yeah, it didn't. So, I mean, I will use the title Out of This World and Another World interchangeably probably throughout this entire discussion. Just as a heads up. Because I've gotten so used to calling it Another World that the Out of This World almost seems wrong, I guess.
Out of This World is too many words. Another World is very easy to say.
For a game that is, that it prides itself on its minimalisticness, I would say that Out of This World sounds too complex of a name.
The game starts and you're just dumped. You just dropped off. And it's just go from second one. And I did not like dying over and over again because I didn't know what to do.
You die a lot in this game. A lot.
So once I figured out like, oh, I got to, swim up, and I'm just like, okay, now what do I do? And now I've got like this fanged beast chasing after me. I probably didn't get past like those first like 3 screens. And then I returned it, and then I said, I'm never going to play this again. And I didn't until for this podcast. So that's basically, my history with it. As for like cinematic, so this was also like my first cinematic game. There was, Dragon's Lair before this, that I had played. At the time, as a kid, I didn't kind of put those two games in the same kind of genre as one another. They're both pretty different, but
it's weird. I know that the developer for this, Eric Chahi, really says that Dragon's Lair is a big inspiration, but I mean, I don't see it that much, because Dragon's Lair is it's an FMV, and you press the direction that you're told to press.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot more. You have a lot more agency in this game, whereas Dragon's Lair is just really on rails.
Yeah, it's a cartoon that you have a second to press an input, and if not, then you watch a video of of you dying. And
there's some of that in here. Like the inspiration is clear, but
it's just funny because I always think about the first time I ever played Dragon's Lair. It was expensive, and the game was over in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody had a different experience than that the first time they played the game.
Yeah, so this was like for like cinematic games, this was kind of like a one and done for me. I played Flashback for the first time like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Just because I had heard so many good things about it, and I played it and I'm like, oh, it's one of these games, and then I stopped after like 5 minutes. I just didn't want to give it a shot.
Yeah.
This is two completely different tastes here, it seems, for us.
Yeah, but I think that it's kind of a acquired taste.
Well, we've kind of been talking about the development history a little bit, so let's fully dive into that.
Sure.
So Out of This World is a cinematic platformer developed by Delphine Software and published by a couple of people, depending on where you're playing it. So there's Delphine themselves, Virgin, Interplay, US Gold, and Focus Entertainment. We mentioned Eric Chahi, who was the sole developer of the game, who prior to this, he was working on something called Future Wars, or put out something called Future Wars. Are you familiar with that?
So I have a Delphine collection for the Evercade that has this game on it, or it has Future Wars, another game, another world, and Flashback on it. And I meant to play it, but I did not. But that was their first game. It was, I think Future Wars was done by Eric Chahi and the guy who made Flashback. I can't think of his name. Paul Quizette, I think his name. I think that's his name.
Sounds right. I'll take your word for it. But it was successful enough where that Delphine Software is basically, yeah, you should go ahead, make whatever you want. And it's kind of where this game comes from. Prior to doing my research on this game, I had no idea that this was like a one-man game at all. Like, because I play the game first and then I look up the history of it and everything. I didn't think this was made by 20 people or something like that. I was like, maybe 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he pretty much did it all by himself.
Yeah, outside of the music. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which is absolutely insane because, I mean, it's almost like AAA looking for the time period in a weird way, but also like an art piece, I guess. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Like it would be in some sort of exhibit.
Right. Just a work of passion, right? You probably got into, figuring out how to do like this stuff with the rotoscoping and, you shared that video of his, where he's like figuring out how to do the rotoscoping, where he would film the stuff. And then I don't know if he would like digitize it or how he would do it, but then he would just draw over each scene.
He programmed his own game engine or whatever you want to call it, basically, to be able to vectorize the graphics. He wanted to, in that video that I linked you, he specifically mentioned that he wanted to work with polygons because he thought, we talked about Dragon's Lair. He thought that Dragon's Lair, for whatever reason, was made with polygons. But yeah, I guess
wild.
Yeah. I don't know where he would get that.
I wonder if he realized halfway, at least when he started working with polygons, it's like, oh, this isn't, Dragon Lair is not polygons at all.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really interesting that was obviously there's gameplay mechanics in here that are also very similar to Dragon's Lair, like we mentioned, but it was basically the cinematics of Dragon's Lair and the art style of it where he was like, I kind of want to make a game like this. And then some of his other influences that we haven't brought up yet, Dune, Mobius adjacent, European sci-fi art, stuff like that to really just kind of fit the mood of what Another World actually is. Right.
Yeah. I could definitely see the Dune reference, inspiration in this.
I mean, I'm not a huge Dune head, but the SNES version specifically has the scrolling text so I thought Star Wars immediately.
Right, right.
Like the text crawl.
Yes.
Which the other versions don't have. So I thought Star Wars at first, and I kind of thought Star Wars throughout until I was like, oh yeah, Dune. No, obviously this is a little more Dune than Star Wars.
Yeah, that scrolling text is unique to the Super Nintendo version, and it has some really great music that goes along with it that's not in any other version. It's kind of neat, seeing that because it's written from the the perspective of the main character, like he's writing in his journal, and it references a specific point in the game, which is kind of neat. But it's just I don't know. That's the only thing that gives you really any insight to his personality in the entire game. Because, I mean, the whole game is very, very minimal. And there's just, there is 2 little sound bites spoken dialogue of the alien that are not speaking English. They're just saying Mysula. Yeah, they just being and so it kind of gives you a little bit of insight to the main character, which is kind of neat. Although I think that bit was not even written by the creator of the game at all.
Well, he didn't actually have, he didn't have a real story in mind. The story just kind of came to him it emerged through him making the game mechanics, which is
right.
incredibly interesting because, I mean, the way the story, it's not like a, insane story or anything. Like it's not that deep,
Right.
It's about a guy trying to get back home. And
well, I mean, I don't even know if he's
it's
trying to get
well
back home. I just think that, I mean, the game opens with like this amazing cinematic where he is, he's a scientist. Yeah. Cause it's just, that he's like basically screwed. and like, I don't know if you've played the sequel or whatever, but I mean, it elaborates a little bit. And the sequel is not endorsed by Eric Chahi at all. I don't think he likes it. And it's only on the Sega CD, I think. It's kind of an interesting game, but anyways, Lester, the main character, is a scientist, and he's doing some scientific experiments. It looks like a hadron collider or something like that, right? And it just happens to, like when he's running it gets struck by lightning and leaving just a hole in the floor, and he gets transferred or teleported to another world. I mean, luckily he teleports into like a body of water. Can you imagine if he had appeared anywhere else?
Stuck in a wall someplace.
Yeah, just like immediately dead.
Yeah.
And I just love how alien and weird the world is, I guess. Because he doesn't know what to do. Like before he knows it, he's like either getting attacked by these slugs that are like will poison him and kill him almost immediately if they tear through his khaki pants.
Right. With their one tooth.
With their one singular tooth, right?
Yeah.
And then he's getting chased by this lion thing. But it's just, and that's just like to kind of acquaint you with the controls of it.
Right. Nice little tutorial section. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you get a gun. I mean, what is cool about this game is it doesn't even have any kind of UI at all.
It almost feels like the story is there to make sense of the gameplay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, exactly.
You've never seen anything like this before, so how do I teach somebody how to play this? Well,
right. And the gameplay is like generally like changing up from scene to scene. You can run in, well, when you get your gun, you can, which is kind of nice. You have this gun that has 3 different shots. One of them, if you tap the button, it shoots like a regular, like a laser beam. And if you hold it for a little bit longer, it'll make a shield. And if you hold it for even longer than that, it makes like a really powerful laser beam. And it's just, it's a 2-button game. The whole thing is just a 2-button game with no UI at all, which is actually pretty amazing for the time. There's just nothing on the screen. No health or anything like that.
The trial and error of it feels like an intentional game design. Like it wants to let you know that you will fail and that failing is okay because that's how you...
There's no lives or anything like that.
Right.
And there's passwords so that you can come back to it later on. And all the puzzles are basically common sense.
Checkpointing is relatively forgiving.
Sorry, we're all over the place.
I know we're jumping all over the place because I'm like, let's talk about the ports real quick.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, that this game started life as an Amiga game, and I think it day and date. I think it also appeared on the Atari ST, if I remember correctly, in 1991.
I think that was done by the same person who ported the to the Super Nintendo. I think it was
Rebecca Heinemann, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Which you sent me a video that I had not seen before, which was very interesting.
Yeah, where she kind of gets way into like how she made this and
what a wizard.
Yeah, just figuring out how to get this game on the Super Nintendo. And it's funny because it could have been such a good, it is a great version of the game, but it could have been even better, but they kept on cutting the budget so that she could never do like any of the, like,
They did
getting
use the
extra-
FX chip, which is
they
crazy.
Yeah, but somehow she managed to get it all in there, even though she was just like, we're going to cut down the frame rate some more now. So it's a very interesting development story.
Just like pure ingenuity, just.
Exactly. Just being smart enough to know exactly how to do this and, porting it to less powerful hardware by looking at the source code. I can't even imagine how somebody would even do that.
It's one of those things where like I played the game and then remembering my previous history with it. And then I find this out, but all of the stuff that she did to get this thing to work on a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And it kind of completely changes my view of the entire game, where I'm like, okay, it was already impressive playing it and being like, wow, I can't believe something like this works to some extent. Let's not to get ahead of ourselves. This wasn't like, it was groundbreaking at the time, but playing it now, it's like, I would rather play it on a computer, honestly.
Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, the stuff that she did and the hoops that she had to jump through to figure out how to get this thing to work. I shouldn't even say that, because she cracked the code first and she's like, well, wait a minute. I think I could put this on the Super Nintendo. Do you want?
Yeah.
And she was like, do you want me to put it on the Super Nintendo? And they're like, yes, but we don't want to give you the money to do that. So you're going to have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
With a box in a cave with a box of scraps like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And she did.
She
crazy.
really did, and did a great job with it. It's a really impressive game. And also, what's kind of funny about this is this is the first cartridge game that I remember seeing they had load times. It has a loading screen.
It sure does.
Which is very weird at the time, I think. It's not something that I thought was even possible. And
God, you know what? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Probably doing some sort of
totally right.
like decompression algorithm or something like that for each area. I mean, the only other time I can think about, I think of a Super Nintendo game they had loading times like that was Street Fighter Alpha 2 on there. Had loading times before each battle. But I mean, still, that just comes down to the fact that she was forced to, put this thing together with tighter and tighter restrictions throughout the development.
I mean, you already sound pretty impressed overall. Mm-hmm. Even coming into the show, I mean, when you first found that out, I mean, did that change any of your perspective on the game at all? Or?
Absolutely. I was incredibly impressed with it, and it certainly makes the game feel a lot more special than it was. Because, as time has gone on, I wouldn't say that the Super Nintendo version is my favorite version to play. The Sega CD version is very good, and of course, like the 20th anniversary version that's out on almost everything at this point is a great way to play the game. In fact, I hadn't played the Super Nintendo version in a really long time. Even though I played it a bunch when it was new, I hadn't played this version in a really long time. And, I was immediately struck by, by the opening. I was like, oh, I forgot how good this was with like the Star Wars-esque scrolling text and stuff. And I found myself really missing that in the other versions. And, the frame rate on the Super Nintendo version is not great. It probably runs like 10 to 15 FPS at most of the time.
There are some parts in this game where I was like, it was parts where I had to do multiple times, and I'm like, I don't want to do this.
And it's not like a fast moving game. So it's, I didn't realize that it was that it ran at such a low FPS until like coming back to it. And I thought, oh, I'd forgotten that it runs like this.
That's just one of those things too. Like as a kid, where I'm like, I don't know what frames per second are.
Exactly.
This is just how the game runs. This is just how it is. But you play it now, and you're just like, oh no,
Yeah. Oh,
no.
it's quite slow, but
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention was that the Super Nintendo version also has, I don't know what you want to call them, levels, areas that are not included in the original.
right. So
Which is even more impressive because there's more game.
yes, but it's actually like, so it's funny because I didn't know that until I just played through the Amiga version on the Evercade cartridge that I have. And there's a whole bit that is not in that version where, you know, where, your alien pal throws you and you catch onto this, like these, overhangs, and, you know, it's like you stick people up and they hit a button and all this other stuff. I did not realize that was not in the original version. And I started like doing some research. I thought like, can I find out when this was added? Was this added in the Super Nintendo version? Was it in the Atari ST version? And did Eric Chahi develop those sections himself? And I could not find anything on it. I'd be curious if you were able to.
No, nothing specifically on who, actually developed that portion of the game. I don't know if Rebecca would have. That's not something she would have done. I don't think so.
Yeah, it seems.
She's not a game designer. She's, well,
yeah,
I
exactly.
guess she's technically a game. I don't know, but
I wouldn't imagine she would feel a need to like put that stuff in there. But I mean, I know that they like some of the difficulty was changed because, of course, they needed to make it harder for rentals and stuff like that.
right. Let's start wrapping this portion up with
Sure.
release dates, ports, and contemporary scores. So the original Amiga release of Another World came out in 1991, while the Super Nintendo version was released a year later. Since then, it has been ported to the Apple II GS, if I'm reading that right, the MS-DOS, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, and the 3DO or 3Do.
Yeah, the 3Do.
And mobile devices. It always cracks me up when I hear somebody say 3Do, and I'm like, what are they talking about?
I thought I had a friend who said that, like, thought it was cool to say it that way, like when it was new. This is a kid who saved up money for an entire summer so that he could buy it when it released. So, I mean, he thought it was real cool to call it the 3Do. Then now it sounds ridiculous.
Hey,
And,
ZX Spectrum or ZX Spectrum? I mean, you decide.
that's true. That's true. That 3DO version is another very good version of it. It's kind of interesting because it runs at, the 3DO outputs 480i, but there's mods for the 3DO that allows it to output its like native. It renders the game internally as 240p and outputs it as 480i. And, there's a mod for the system that will allow you to output it at 240p. And that causes the game to run like way too fast that it's unplayable, which is kind of funny. It's just like it must have been a weird programming thing that, it makes the game run at its normal rate because it's being interlaced for some reason.
Yeah, because some things are like, it almost, like things feel scripted. And so it feels like it's on a clock. So
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I mean, it really is in a lot of ways.
And then in 2011, the game was re-released for modern consoles. It was packaged as the 20th anniversary edition, which came with some quality of life touches, but sticks as close to the original release, as faithful as the 1991 release. Which, unfortunately, so I bought it for like $3 on Good Old Games. And because I was really curious, because I wanted to replay it, but I was like, well, I want to play a better version of this if I can. Yeah. And for some reason, could not get it to run on my PC. I don't know why. So kind of bummed out.
Yeah. Could you get like a refund for it?
I'm not going to refund it because what if I can get it to work? What if it's just being weird,
Yeah.
I don't.
But that version is on everything
anymore.
At least that version is on basically every platform. It might not be on Xbox, but it's
Yeah.
I bought it on the PS3, and I got the PS4 version and Vita version for free with that. And I got it on the Switch. You know, it's on most platforms.
It would be a good Switch game. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
the first time I own multiple copies of the same game, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
This is one of the few times that limited run early on in their lifetime, they did a version. They did a physical release for the PS4 of this, and it's one of the few times that I sprung for the big box. Like, it looks like an Amiga game box. That usually I don't like that kind of stuff, but I was pretty disappointed with the quality of that thing.
I don't think limited running quality is synonymous with each other these days so much.
That's true. I mean, this was a while ago, but I think my biggest disappointment was that I really, really love the original box art for this. You know, it's like this scene with Lester, like he's like doing
like
almost
on a
like
mountain
a
or something.
Yeah, he has like his
It's like a
arms
sunrise.
open, and he's like has his arms open. It's like he's being blasted with wind or whatever, and it's such a cool image. And the that limited run box that I got is supposed to have like a big poster of that in it, and I was like, oh, I would like that, but it's like folded into like a little square, so you can't put this thing in a poster frame without having all those creases in it.
The creases, yep.
Yeah,
As I'm looking at my Twilight Princess poster right now, and it's got all those shitty creases in it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
But I mean, so when they had their store opening down in Raleigh, we were there like filming some stuff, and I saw that they had the poster. You could buy it rolled up. I said, I'm gonna buy this, and I have it framed on my wall.
You mentioned the Sega CD version,
Yeah,
which was packaged with the sequel, Heart of the Alien: Out of This World Parts 1 and 2. Is what
Yes.
the entire title of that package is called.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned earlier, Chahi was not involved with the sequel. He didn't even want to make sequels.
Yeah.
It was just Delphine Software being like, "Hey, we've got a hit. Let's do another one."
How much have you like looked at of the sequel? Have you
I
looked
think
at
I've
anything
seen
about it?
I saw some screenshots and stuff, and I'm like,
Okay.
this kind of looks like more of the same.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, nobody liked it. So,
Yeah, it's weird. It's like such a weird game, but also it has some moments that I think are really cool.
you know what game did review well? It was Another World.
Yes.
Review scores were mostly positive. Mostly positive to some that were lukewarm. It kind of seemed like people were like, wow, this game is really cool, but it's not really fun to play, which was probably like one of the worst things you could probably say about the game at the time. But it was praised for the innovation, the presentation, the atmosphere and everything. Right now, Game Rankings has it at 84%. It won Electronic Gaming Monthly's Most Innovative Game Award in 1992. And some of the other criticisms were its short length and the harsh trial and error, which was, again, because of the rental market. So, and then, as always, I have a user review. Lucy on Amazon gave it a perfect 5 out of 5. Well, to be honest with you, the graphics for this game are really not so great, actually, but I love the graphics. I don't know. I'm just a cheesy person, and I think things like these are really hilarious and cool. It's really funny if you're into the stupidness of a game, smiley face.
Oh, see, I just feel like this person probably doesn't like art then. 'Cause right?
That's what they say. I think that's what people say about me too.
I mean, it's just, it's a work of art. It has a specific style, and it nails that style in every single scene, I think, in every aspect of it. You know, just because it's not realistic looking, it was realistic in some ways. The animation was smoother than a lot of things we were seeing. And I don't think that it's cheesy or hilarious and cool.
Can I be old man yelling at clouds for a moment?
Sure.
You know, growing up, seeing stuff like this where it was like, wow, this feels like really realistic. The way Lester moves, the way the characters move, the mechanics and everything feels realistic. It looked more realistic than some of the other like pixel-based games out there. And so obviously, and then you could get CD quality. I don't even really know what I mean by this. CDs came out, and so you could get better quality games. And so the industry was just striving for more realistic graphics. And that's when you get people in 1997 say Nightmare Creatures looks better than a game like Symphony of the Night, which is crazy.
Crazy.
And we're still pushing the limits of realism to the point where, like, I don't know, to me, I feel like the past 10 years, we've kind of hit a plateau.
Yes.
And I am waving the flag for good art direction. Make something interesting. We have these incredibly powerful consoles that are like, even I feel like my PS5 struggles to play like the highest fidelity game. But you have all this power. You can make whatever you want. The most boring game you can make, to me, is something that looks like what I can just get outside. Yeah,
like the most realistic thing possible.
And so seeing a game like this being made now in the indie game space, where you see stuff like Zodiac or I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Or like Hyper Light Drifter.
Right, yes. Example. Stuff like that is such a breath of fresh air where, like, even if the game is okay, I will at least be entertained visually. And I know people are entertained by different things. People are going to be more blown away by Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Fine. I would rather see something more interesting, more atmospheric, more cinematic, like something like Another World does today. And that's my soapbox.
No, it's a very striking looking game, and I don't think there's anything silly about it. I think it's just to have made this by himself, you know, and come up with this entire art direction and style. I think that's really, really impressive. I mean, I wish that I had this kind of imagination and could realize it so vividly on screen.
And make it from nothing. Like, literally create the tech to do it.
Yeah. And exactly. Figure out how to make this thing a reality. You know, I think I read something where he made that intro first to kind of figure out how he's going to do it. And then he actually started making the game, which is, I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, I could see that being true. Or he just figures out.
He still has the props too, you know?
Yeah.
Which is also cool. You imagine, like, those are like actual physical things that he can work with. So I would believe that, like, he messed with the car first to get the rotoscoping down and maybe, you know, model it or whatever he had to do it. 'Cause those are tangible things that he could work with. While, like, the rest of the game, it's not like he modeled him. He didn't put on the motion capture balls or whatever, like model an actual person walking around or anything. So
right.
He probably had to do that from hand. Back to reviews, because we have to figure out what you, dear listener, think about the game that we're talking about. This is, of course, Retro Recollections. And if you would like to submit a retro recollection every time I have something coming up on the show, you have to hit up the Discord. Link to the Discord is, it is a forever link, and you can hit that up in the show notes. And just check out the Retro Recollections channel. I will basically give a, what do you want to call it? A shout out whenever there's something coming up. And I allow you guys to give me your thoughts on what we're talking about. And we will start with Chris Copleen from Retro Hangover, of course, who says, cinematic platformers. So pretty. So
watch it
to play. Yeah. I mean, listen, I agree with him, but
yeah, I mean, the gameplay and the game feel is totally appropriate. I mean, when you think about it, he's just a science nerd who's like using on the run from crazy
Chris,
aliens.
Do you think you could run away from a bear monster?
Yeah,
Chris probably could. He works out.
But I mean, this guy is like a little he's a skinny little dude just in way over his head.
Yeah. We talked about the 3Do earlier. We've got next Thrak from the 3DO experience, and of course Thrak Ops, who says, "Another World is an all-time classic that paved the way for future cinematic style games, much less platformers. Sure, it's a bit clunky, but I still enjoy playing it in its 2 hour or so glory."
Yeah. It might be short. So back in, I don't know when it was, maybe 2013. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Tim Rogers of Action Button.
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
So he wrote a review of this. I had to find it. His website is no longer there, so I had to go through, use the Wayback Machine to read his review. And he ranked this as the best game of all time.
He would.
But he says something at the very end that, really, really resonated with me, where he says, "A game cannot be too short if it's memorable." And I think that's true. It might be short, but if it's so memorable, you're like reliving and thinking about it in your head. I think that makes up for it. It can't be too short, because you might find yourself going back to it over and over and over again because of that.
I will say, to that point, and kind of going back to my previous history a little bit, when I was making the list of games that I had to play for my podcast, I didn't know what this game was. I couldn't remember the title of it, but I could remember being dropped into an alien world, and like the first couple of screens having like these weird worms, and you get chased by like a monster. That's all I was going off. I was going off by memory. So I remember like that was in here. I just didn't know what the name of the game was.
Right.
So,
but it was memorable. You remember that. Yeah.
And I was like I said, I had never seen anything like that before as a kid. So it stuck with me. Yeah. I didn't like it, but it stuck with me.
Exactly. So, and I think that says a lot.
Next we have Mass Keaton, who says, "I loved this game as a kid. I'm afraid to go back and play it as an adult. I think it had the most realistic Coke gulp and can crunch I had ever heard, and I loved when the thing said, my tuba."
My tuba.
I think that's actually, I think that's probably what they say. I don't know.
My tuba. I always thought it was my sula, but my tuba is a lot better. I don't know. It makes me think of, this is like totally like a total different tangent, but in the game Grand Theft Auto 3, if you like hijack one of the
I know what you're gonna say. I know.
If you
hijack, my friend would make fun of it too.
When you hijack a flatbed truck, the guy usually yells. He's like, "My toolbox, my toolbox."
But he sounds, because of his accent, because he's supposed to sound like he's from Staten Island.
Yeah, my toolbox, my toolbox. Like he's not even concerned about his car. He's just concerned about the fact that his toolbox is in the back, and now it's like, what is he going to do without his toolbox? But I can hear it like, my tuba, my toolbox.
Yep. Oh man, that's crazy. Same wavelength. Great. Phil from Deleted Saves says, "The art style was eye-catching, truly a marvel of the console generation, and that can't be taken away from it. But holy hot buttered Christ, What a
Let's cuddle.
mess to play.
See, I don't think it's a mess to play. It's a 2-button game. How much of a mess can it be? And one of those buttons only jumps.
Maybe Phil has big thumbs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's extremely, the gameplay is extremely simple. You run, you shoot, or you charge your gun.
Finally, Lethko of the Afterglow podcast says, it's very pretty to look at. He doesn't say but you may as well. But I'm not a fan of Prince of Persia style platformers, though, where the game feels more like a puzzle to solve. Strangely enough, I enjoy adventure point-and-click games, just not when they try to portray themselves as a platform title.
I could see it being like a cool point. Like maybe someone could make a point-and-click version of this, and it would probably work really well, I think.
I'll just say it now since we're talking about it. But I love the Mac Venture series. There were things about this game that reminded me of Shadowgate, like the death scenes, where it's just so over the top, and it's kind of funny. It's funny until it's not funny anymore. When you're just like, I've died way too many times here.
Yeah.
And I've never actually played a Prince of Persia game. So I don't know if those have kind of the same
those
style
ones
of death scenes or no.
No, it doesn't have like the cinematic deaths. You just like get impaled on spikes, and it's all like there's no cutscenes or anything like that. I mean, some of the platforming in this is not great. I mean, there's a whole section of the game that takes place underground with like in these blue caverns, and it's definitely the worst part of the game. And definitely the part of the game that you're going to spend the most time on figuring it out, because that part just took forever the first time. And you're going to see that drowning animation or the like the tentacles on the ceiling, or especially like the mouths on the floor.
Dude,
you're going to see those. You're going to see those teeth crunching on your leg like fairly often, probably more than any other death scene in the entire game.
I mean, obviously, stuff like Shadowgate's text-based, so I think the humor comes out like a little bit more than it does in something like this. But you know, that first screen when you encounter those worms and they bite you or they scratch you.
Yeah, and you die
and you fall over, and it's just so fun. It's so comical.
Yeah, I mean, and you can drown right at the very beginning of the game. I don't know if this ever happened to you, but you know, when you climb out of the water and like Lester kind of slowly walks forward a bit, if you don't move from there, like the tentacle will come out of the water and pull you back down.
Really?
Yeah.
That feels like feels like something this game would do to you.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the story. And we've kind of touched on the story, actually. I don't know how much else we could probably add to it. I've got a few notes here. And it's just me thinking too hard about this story that doesn't have any dialogue or text logs. There's no HUD in this game.
Right.
Like there's nothing. There's really nothing here.
It's
all of it's
purely visual storytelling, except for that Super Nintendo version with the text scroll at the beginning.
Yeah. There's something weird about this random guy who's driving like a Ferrari, by the way. This is just like feels like some nerdcore sci-fi where you're just like, yeah, you're going to go to your top secret lab in your Ferrari. And then you're going to go sit in your dark room in front of your computer like a hacker.
Yep.
And for some reason, you got a black market Higgs boson in your basement. Like, I don't know. It's just the way in the entire thing just, Lester kind of seems like an idiot for somebody who made a particle accelerator. Like,
arrogant.
Like
probably.
nobody knew about this. Apparently, the government did not know what he was doing. I don't know. And he was so ready to go test it.
We have no idea like when this takes place or anything like that. We're just
that's true.
We just know that he's doing it because I mean he has that hologram thing. Like he's like the entire
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like Machine is being like displayed on this green hologram in front of him. So, I mean, it could be far in the future, but who even knows? But I mean, it's a great setup for what it needs to be. You know, it's funny looking at this whole thing, like, or this, the story plot, you know, is this from the manual or something? But it's, there's like so much information. It's like, we gotta fit this, stretch this out to 2 pages. You know, they really had to just talk about every single thing that he has to do. You know, nothing is going to keep Lester from going and trying out, this experiment tonight. You know, I was going to crack open my icy cold soft drink.
Right.
Stuff like that. It's just, we need to really stretch this out. And it's kind of beautiful that it doesn't need any of that. It just tells you everything, especially in this day and age with games that just over explain things and just have so much talking and have to reiterate everything back to you just to, you know, just throw you into it, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a deep story or anything. It doesn't have to do, it's a very easy, it's impressive how it tells the story, but again, it's also not doing a ton of heavy lifting either. No. Exactly. We got to get this guy to an alien world. How do we do that? Okay. He teleports himself there. How? He has a Higgs boson in his basement. Sure. Do it.
And really, the actual, like, you know, the entire game, it's not exactly like this sprawling adventure either. I mean, he makes his way through like 3 different buildings in this place, really, and underground. I mean, it's not like he's meeting up with the resistance and doing all this other stuff. It's just, he's just on the run. He's just being chased the entire time. Just figuring it out as he goes, you know, and best to the best of his ability.
I think if there was any dialogue or even a HUD, I think it would really just kind of, I would lose the immersion, at least. I don't know about you.
Well, that's kind of the thing that makes it cinematic, right? It does not, makes it not, I mean, there's the cutscenes, but just the game not having any kind of, you know, like health bar or any UI. It just makes it seem like its own thing.
Like, all I could think about, like, while playing this game, I was like, how annoying would it be if there was just like a small triangle in the top left corner that tells you that you have your laser weapon equipped, you know? Like,
right.
Which you wouldn't need anyway, because you basically have it the entire game anyway, but.
Yeah. And, you know, if there was something showing how much ammo you had or something like that, because you can run out of ammo.
Yes.
And there's charge spots for the gun throughout the game that you'll use if you don't die. But every time you die, your energy gets like refilled for it. So it's like you almost don't need those. But if you were trying to just go through the whole game without dying, then you would need that kind of stuff. But there's nothing in there telling you how many shots you have left or anything like that, which is great.
Is it though?
I think that if you were trying to beat it without dying and doing it, it would be kind of a fun little meta game. Like, how much ammo do I have? All right, I got to survive to this place because I know that I can refill my energy there. I think it'd be kind of, it'd add a little something to it. Like you'd be maybe feel a bit more afraid than you do if you have unlimited lives.
Let's talk about the gameplay, because I feel like we might clash here a little bit.
Okay.
So we already talked about the beginning of the game. You know, you are literally dropped in, no directions. The game doesn't tell you anything. You're just floating in the water, and these tentacles are slowly coming up. And game design Keith shows up, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's telling me that I need to swim up.
Yeah.
First of all, I did die again. Because I completely forgot how this game started and everything. And so I did die again. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, so again, the game has these context clues that you're immediately not, for me at least, I didn't immediately pick up on them until I died, which was like all the time. So like, for instance, the tentacles coming up. Okay, the game wants me to swim up. It wants to tell me that I can swim. So I go up. And then you have the, very similar to the, the way they designed 1-1 of Mario. Instead of Goombas, you got the worms crawling around, and then the game is teaching you that you can. I jumped over them. I didn't know you could kick them.
Oh, yeah.
Until I was looking at the manual for the game after I had played the game.
Yeah, and
So
you can kill them
idea.
all so that it makes it a lot easier later, too. Because more of them drop down. If you stay on the screen for a while, more will drop down. But if you just wait for them to drop down, you can kill them all, so you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I was jumping over them. So, I mean, it's cool that there's two ways that you can deal with them. But then, you know, if you go far enough, because I think, especially with people our age, back then, your natural inclination was to go right, because every game that we have ever played up until then was to go right. So then this shadowy beast figure shows up, starts chasing you, basically telling you, hey, no, you have to go back. And then you get back to that first screen and you're just like, wait, is there another screen after this? And then sure enough, there is. And then you jump on the rope and you escape. But in my experience, and especially past this mark, is where like I was like, the context clues are there, but they had to happen first because everything is happening so quickly that the game is so slow that I feel like I wasn't reacting fast enough to have even figured out what lesson it was really trying to teach me. So like the trial and error of the game really made it kind of a grind for me.
I could definitely see that being the case now. Because I don't know what it's like to have it be a grind anymore. You know what I mean? I played it so much that generally I know what I'm doing at all times in it and like exactly where to go, that I don't even remember what it was like to not know. Does that make sense?
No, that's fair.
Because I guess, you know, when I played it, you know, in 92, I certainly had a lot more patience for it. And especially since, you know, like I played a bunch of it with a friend of mine. And then before I went to buy it myself, you know, when you're working through the problems of a game with another person at the same time, I guess it just allows you to, it increases your patience for something like that.
And like, I mentioned it earlier, the checkpointing is pretty generous. I mean, it's basically an instant reset. So it could be a lot worse. There are parts of the game that I felt like didn't give me any clue on what I had to do. So immediately, you know, after that first section, when you're captured and you get put in that cage, that was fine. I figured out what I had to do there. It wasn't that hard. I pick up the gun, and then you are running through the prison, escaping the guards, and your buddy, your little alien buddy. Does this guy have a name? Do they name him in the sequel?
No, but I've heard him referred to as Buddy.
Okay. My tuba.
My toolbox!
Yeah. My tuba.
My toolbox!
But he's sitting at like this keypad trying to unlock the door.
Right.
And that's when all these guards kind of flood the hallway and you have to shoot them. And I died. And I died. And I died.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the
Watch it!
do I have to do? And so I'm trying to all sorts of like manners of like, do I stand behind him? Do I go to the other screen and like try and shoot them first? What do I do? And I could not figure it out. And that's what I was like, you know what? This is a guide type of game.
Oh, okay.
So,
you know, you're supposed to use the shield, you know, you got to charge up. But if you,
and I did
think
not,
it comes,
you tell me, Coury.
they don't,
what was the clue?
The enemies can do it. The enemies are putting down shields too. And they have the same gun. You got your gun from the enemy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
okay.
it's just one of those things that I guess it doesn't explain it to you. So you just kind of got to be like, well, how do I do that? And you see, if you're looking at the enemies, you see that they will stop and they will charge up and like let the shields go, you know? And once you realize that, then you realize like, well, what if I like held it down even longer. And that's when you get like that, it makes that really cool sound when it like fully charges up. And then you realize, oh, I can destroy their shields with this too. But yeah, I mean, the first time you're dying a bunch.
Idiot right here.
No. I think it's just like a different,
figure it out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think that's totally understandable. Like, I mean, I think that we're probably used to being, saying like, hold down this thing. Here's a tutorial segment. We're going to tell you this stuff. You can charge your gun. And if this game was released today, it would absolutely tell you that. But I think it's kind of interesting that it doesn't, that it is purely, you learn this stuff by like observing, I guess, or trial and error.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't use a guide. I mean, I used the guide throughout the entire game, but I didn't like solely rely on it. So like every time I got to like a new part, I did get some of the context and like learned what was going on in the game and going through it to the best of my ability. I think the next part that I really got hung up on was the part where you have to flood the caverns.
Oh, that's like
I had no idea what to do.
It's just doing things in a certain way, and you only know you're doing it right because you'll get new checkpoints when you do it right in the right order. And I mean, probably the hardest part for me is like, well, the falling rocks are super hard to avoid when you got to walk past them. And I died so many times on that part. But there's a part when you need to go backwards and you got to hang from these like stalactites. And I didn't know how to make it past these tentacles that would always grab you. But on the previous screen, there's like this little like bird thing that's like hanging from from a stalactite. And if you shoot at it, it'll fly away and it will flutter onto the next screen and it will fly into the tentacles. And the tentacles will eat that and you can make it past it. But that part is the most difficult part of the game and the biggest slog of the game because there's nothing to fight really. It's just a lot of like timing puzzles and stuff like that. And then I don't know. That's definitely like the most challenging and worst part of the game probably.
There are parts of the game where I enjoy puzzle games and I enjoyed the puzzle aspects of this. It was just in some sections, it was just a little too puzzly where it's just like, it's not giving me enough context of what steps I have to take. So there's a little bit of friction there with me. I feel like everything after that section was pretty easy.
One of my favorite parts of the game though, and I think it's kind of sums up a lot of the game, is when you get inside this tank and it goes onto this Coliseum.
Yes.
And the game,
was so weird.
It's so weird, but I love the fact that you're in there and you're just like randomly hitting buttons. And like, that's the whole point is you just got to randomly hit buttons.
Yes.
Because you don't know what you're doing. And you're just like, I'm just going to hit these random buttons. And eventually you hit the eject button or you got to hit them in a certain specific sequence. But I thought that kind of sums up a lot of the game and the trial and error-ness of it, right? Where you're just, just hitting all the buttons, seeing what does something. Trying all these different methods to see if they do something.
There are just like a lot of cool moments like that sprinkled throughout this game. Like when you figure out what exactly you have to do and you do it all sequentially, how you are supposed to do it, the game does reward you with some like really awesome stuff. There's like one scene where you're running from a bunch of guards and as you and your friend are escaping, there's just like all of these laser shots, you know, passing by you guys, like whizzing by your head. And then you get like cornered or whatever. And you're just like, oh, okay, I'm probably going to die here or whatever. But then all of a sudden your friend comes out of like a grate or whatever, a heating duct or something and like grabs you and picks you up and pulls you up and you guys escape.
Yeah.
Or like the scene where you release all of the animals in the that are being held captive and they go crazy on all the guards and stuff as you guys escape. And just a lot of like really
watch it
cool moments that are really rewarding.
Yeah. Like, well, especially when you figure out the correct sequence to put into the tank, and it shoots you out, and you get to like see some sweet alien booty in the bathhouse.
Dude, like, yeah, the whole end of this game is just so like, it's so weird.
Yeah, apparently like the Super Nintendo version, they had to remove like the butt cracks from the aliens.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is very funny. It's this too hot for Nintendo at the time.
This game is like so like moody and atmospheric. It's like pretty dark. Really violent at times. And then, yeah, you get to the end of this, you go to a bathhouse, and it's just like total whiplash.
Yeah. And I love it, though. That scene plays out really cool because, like, you fly in through the window. And I love it because that scene, the way you fly in through the window and all, like, the people bathing, like, jump in the water and swim away. But then enemies, like the aliens chasing you, like, show up in the background and the foreground. There's, like, lasers, like, going from all directions, and it's really, really cool. It's just complete chaos during that part. And I love it when the lasers shoot from like the foreground. It's like such a cool like 3D effect for the time.
And again, done without the Super FX chip, which is
right,
insane. It's hard to talk about any part of this game, like the gameplay, without talking about the story or talking about the graphics. Because it all is just so, each of these elements is leaning into each other so hard.
Yeah.
It's come out to be what it is.
For all intents and purposes, I mean, it's a completely cohesive experience, you know, like the visuals and the gameplay, like the gameplay might be, you know, sluggish at times or unresponsive, but I think that it's fine. It would feel weird if he was like super agile too.
Yeah, like if he controlled like Mario, the game would be a lot easier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it wouldn't feel. It would ruin the immersion, I suppose.
Yeah, like it's cinematic, and also the way that Lester controls. He controls like you or I would control if we were trying to run for our lives and jump across a chasm. It probably wouldn't go very well. Or wrestle tentacle monsters or what have you.
I mean, I love that it's a 2-button game, and that's something that I think that at the time I didn't appreciate, but as time has gone on, I appreciate that kind of thing more and more, like doing more with less.
And what they do with it too, because like I said, this game's, there's puzzles, and those 2 buttons do a lot of things. They don't do a lot of things, but the way that they're implemented within the gameplay is they do it very well. They do it very well.
Agreed.
All right, Coury, I don't know if you know this about my podcast, but I like to play a little game with my guests. I like to throw a little trivia at you guys.
Okay. Oh, that sounds fun.
This is a game that I would like to call Come Again? As we've discussed, Out of This World has very little in the way of dialogue, spoken or written. I have here a list of 10 games. I'll give you the name of the game, and for each one, all you have to do is give me a yes or no answer of whether or not it has any dialogue in it or not.
Okay.
Written or spoken.
Oh, okay. This is fun. Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Game number 1. Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, that has dialogue. It's spoken, but it's in a different language.
Oh, I forgot I don't have Nitro anymore. I can't do the sound effects.
Let's cuddle.
Damn it. That is correct. Yes. Yeah, and I was very excited to see that. I think it was you that played it for your year end.
Yeah, Yeah, this is the first time I played the remake. I played the original years ago, but the remake is well worth.
But will you get game number 2, Corey? Super Metroid.
There's written dialogue. Oh, is
there?
I mean, there's the last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is a piece.
Yeah. Oh,
the
my
intro.
God. Okay, you know what?
Or is it if it's?
I will give you that. I think I was thinking in game.
Okay, like if they talk to each other, it can't be like just a story. Characters have if are characters talking to each other.
Because technically, yeah, Another World has dialogue in it if you count the text crawl.
Right. Okay.
So okay, I'll give that one to you.
Okay,
I'll give you that one too. That 2 for 2 here.
Okay, so it just comes down to if characters speak to each other.
In game, yes.
Okay.
Game number 3, Flower.
There's no dialogue in that game.
Correct. I've never even played it, but
oh, it's a great game.
Gameplay.
It
Really?
is a great game. Yeah, I love it.
Game number 4, The Witness.
I don't think there's any dialogue in that game. I've not really played it, but I feel like there's probably not any dialogue in that game. I think it's just one person on this island solving these puzzles.
I'm sorry, Corey. There is dialogue.
Okay.
There's text logs.
Oh, okay.
And I think there's even like some FMV, if I remember correctly. I
Oh,
don't know. I haven't played that game in a long time. But there is text logs. That's why everybody hates the game, because they're just like, oh, all this philosophical stuff ruined the game for me. And I'm like, okay, I guess. Game number 5, Journey.
I feel like there can be sounds and dialogue between you and other players. It's been a long time since I played it. I want to say that I want to say that there is, but I can't. I kind of want to say, I don't think there is.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There is no dialogue. I mean, yeah, you can interact with the other players and stuff like that. And
I think it's just sounds, though, now that I think about it.
yeah, like you don't know what's being said or anything like that. Yeah.
Right.
Doing pretty good right now. Number 6, Dark Souls.
I don't think there's any dialogue on that. It just, there's only like lore stuff. I haven't played it, so I gotta be honest, I've not played it.
Sorry, Corey, there is dialogue in Dark Souls.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
You do talk to NPCs and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Number 7, specifically Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
I don't, there's no dialogue in that game.
Correct. I specifically chose Sonic 3 because it's like the first Sonic game that actually like explicitly has a story, and it's all told visually, and I thought it was done incredibly well.
Right.
And I hate Sonic, so to give it credit is a lot for me. So
yeah, it's refreshing because I mean Sonic talks way too much now, especially.
Yes, you know what? Extra credit, Corey. Game 8, Hollow Knight.
I haven't played it either.
Uh-oh.
I feel like I'm not playing all these like real important games, huh? I want to say that there is no dialogue in that game.
I'm sorry, Corey, there is dialogue. Again, talking to NPCs and
yeah, I didn't know
shopkeepers and all sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah,
so.
That would make sense.
Now, Corey, I would never try and trick any of my guests. That's not what I do around here.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. Number 9, Doom 2016.
There is dialogue. I mean, you're talked at in Doom 2016. I think that there is dialogue.
Is that a yes?
But I mean, does that count though? I mean, the Doomslayer doesn't say anything. He speaks with actions. But I'm just wondering if there's like any kind of like story bit that is, because the Doomslayer's talked at, but he doesn't say anything back. Does that count? I'm going to say yes.
Yes, there's dialogue. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, cutscenes and other characters talking to each other, and it doesn't have to specifically be,
to the Doomslayer. I guess. Yeah, the intro, I guess, has quite a bit of talking too.
Again, I would never try and trick you. Doom, 1993.
There's no dialogue. I mean,
this is the last one, by the way.
Yeah. I'm going to say there's not. I mean, there's text in it and stuff, but it's not a conversation or anything like that. I'm going to say no.
You are correct. There is no
right.
dialogue in night. Now, I know I can hear you, dear listener, shouting at me like, whoa, but during in between levels, there's text telling you what to do and blah, 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 and giving you story.
That doesn't count, though.
I'm not counting that. Yeah, it's in between levels.
It's not a conversation. It's just the level description.
Right.
Or the mission description.
Coury, you got 7 out of 10.
Hey.
Not bad. How do you feel?
That's really fun. I feel pretty good about it. I'm curious about like some of the ones you've done before, like some of the other ones you've done. I feel like game trivia stuff is fun. I don't have a lot of opportunities to do stuff like that. It's pretty fun, I gotta say.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. There's a lot of people that either come off very happy like you, very happy and surprised, and there's some people that are just like,
Watch it!
Man, like, how could you do that to
me? You're like making me look bad in front of like the people listening to this.
Let's close this thing out with the presentation, the graphics, music, sound effects. I mean, we've kind of been talking about it. I don't know how much deeper we need to go into it, but I mean, it's, for me, again, besides some frame rate issues, I wouldn't say, you know what? That's fair to say. I was still blown away by this game after all this time. Mm-hmm. I think I said it earlier, before we even dived into, I think the story, right, was like, I will always favor games that are much more stylistically impressive than something that is more photorealistic. Even though at the time, this was kind of like photorealistic, which is kind of silly to say.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that's the coolest about it, is that it feels pretty much like totally unique, especially for its time when it came out. And I appreciate how weird it is, how weird everything looks and everything sounds. It was pushing an envelope at the time that it released that no other games were pushing. It's just a cohesive vision from Eric Chahi, and he set out to make something that he had in his mind. And I wonder if he feels he delivered on exactly what he had in his mind at the time or not. Because, I mean, there's limitations to the graphic style, and I think that's what really makes it excel. It doesn't look like a game made by one person, but when you hear that it's made by one person, you kind of think, oh, well, maybe that makes sense. I guess. The music's pretty cool. The Super Nintendo version has its own music that's not in the other one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the music in the other versions is quite different. It's a lot more alien sounding. But the music that plays during the intro of in the title screen and intro of the Super Nintendo version is excellent. But then after that, it's just very much like mood music where it's like boom, 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 boom. It's just like, very droning kind of, just setting the tone.
It uses silence very well.
Yes.
Like there's a sparseness to the audio design that I think is very intentional, and it's meant like nothing. I didn't feel like any of it pulled me out of the atmosphere of the game.
Right. And you'll hear, there's a lot of sound effects, like a lot of, footsteps. Footstep sounds in 2D games, like, generally annoy me. This is one of the few instances that they don't, I guess. I don't mind them so much in 3D games, but it drives me crazy when footstep sounds in 2D games. I don't know why. And this and Super Metroid are the only games that have never annoyed me in that aspect. In fact, I didn't even think about the fact that Super Metroid had footstep sounds for the longest time.
I don't think I ever realized that either until you just said it.
And then you hear it, right? You can hear them in your head.
I mean, I've played that game so many times, and I just never realized it. I just covered that game like 3 months ago. I don't even think I paid attention to the footsteps in this game either. But now that you said it, yeah, there totally is.
Yeah. And the sound that your gun makes when you charge up to the full blast is really great too.
Oh, the shield breaker is real nice.
That
like, sounds real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something I don't know if you watched MTV in the early 90s.
I absolutely did.
There was something about, and I don't know if this was an intentional thing or not, but the weird dark and like the grittiness of this game felt like something you would have seen off of like Liquid Television at the time. Like it feels like so of its era.
Yes.
The way the animation is styled, like the way the animation is played out and everything, it feels like some weird cartoon you would have caught at like 11 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you would probably never see it again. It would just be like, did I actually watch that thing, or did I dream of something and like did I just make that up?
That's crazy, because as soon as you said MTV, I was like, oh my god, I never thought about like the Liquid Television connection that this would have. Like it seems like it would have been totally at home being it's an animated series on that.
Because it's like it's literally testing the boundaries of animation and like what a game can do, and like those that's kind of what those showrunners were doing and those creators were doing with their TV shows.
I feel like that could have happened. Like I almost wonder if like a discussion happened at some point. Like, or if like somebody pitched that to somebody. I wonder. I don't know. It's like, it seems impossible. If I had a time machine, I would go back in time and that's exactly what I would do, is pitch this show called Another World. You could make a 10-part series out of it.
This could have been a short. This totally could have been, because the game's only like what? If you know what you're doing, 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
You could distill a guy getting transported to an alien world and trying to escape to like a 10-minute short that could have appeared on Liquid Television or something. And it could have, and because like music videos also were like very different back then and trying to do different things with film. All of this is to say that I feel like the visual style is very reminiscent also of what people were trying to do with animation back then on television. So
that's great, man. That's like something I never even thought of, but it sounds amazing. Like if that was like an actual show, it just makes so much sense.
Cause that's what I was doing.
Absolutely
like
brilliant.
I'm playing video games all night. And then finally when I turn off the Super Nintendo, it's like I'm probably laying in bed watching whatever the hell's on MTV or Nick at Night or something,
Yeah. Like, and the first thing you see is like a fly getting caught in eyelashes, right?
Right.
And like, oh, this is like, that's weird. Liquid Television is one of those things that I would love to just go back and revisit. Cause I mean, it probably had so much of a profound effect on so many people at the time. And, probably does not get the credit today that it should get.
I feel like the only people that are kind of carrying on that type of like freedom of expression type of stuff is Adult Swim, and I don't even know what Adult Swim is anymore. I haven't watched Adult Swim in like 20 years, so. But I remember it kind of had that same kind of energy where you would just see some random thing on Adult Swim, and then you'd probably never see it again. And it was just this weird, one-off thing between shows. It was like 5 minutes, and
fantastic era of MTV, where you got a lot of music videos, and what shows they did have were just like weird experimental things like that.
Yeah. We have reached the end of the program. But first, we have to summarize our thoughts and find out whether or not Out of This World still holds up, and if we would recommend checking it out here in 2026. And I'm like, I think I'm going to let you go first, because I'm kind of sitting here like still like I can go either way.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've started to reassess your thoughts on it a little bit throughout this conversation? I wonder. Do it a little bit?
I don't know. I don't know. It's been something I've been thinking about basically since last week, and then coming into this week, I was still thinking about it.
I'll go ahead and just, you can think on it for a minute. I'm going to say that I think it's pretty apparent what I think about this game and whether I think that people should play it. I think that people should go into it with an open mind and look at it as art more so than they look at it as a video game. And I think that it absolutely holds up. And it's a short, breezy experience. And if you get stuck, then look something up really quick. Just I think that everyone should play it just for like how minimal of a game it is. It's like everything. It's just like the visual style. Like everything is so minimal, but it does so much with so little. And I think that that's really, really refreshing in this day and age. And I think that people should definitely check it out. I played through it last week, and I feel like I'm going to play through it again in the next coming weeks, just because I just hadn't played it in a little while, and I think it's well worth playing over and over again. And remember, the game is memorable. It cannot be too short. Like that's a great way. That's a great way to sum it up, I think.
Do I think it holds up? Again, we're talking about the Super Nintendo version. I don't think the Super Nintendo version holds up. So no, I don't think this holds up. However, there are modern ways to play it. And I have this caveat for many of the games that I've talked about on the show. So I mean, if there's a modern way to play it, if it has been brought up to modern standards, and this game has been, you should go check that version out. The other thing I was thinking about while I played this game, I can't be certain if this was like one of the first cinematic platformers out there. I know there was Pitfall before this, but I don't know if I would actually count that.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that.
Like there's this, aside from me, having played this as a kid, there's a familiarity to it that was really revived by that mid-aughts indie scene where you're getting games like Limbo and Inside, and there's another game that came out like a couple of years ago. But there's a lot of games like these that are incredibly popular. I mean, Limbo is huge, and I don't think you get games like these or games like that without a game like Another World existing or Out of This World existing. And so I think like, would I recommend this to anybody? This is a really cool game. Everything about it is really awesome, especially when you dive into the nitty gritty of and how it was made and how it,
right.
Yeah, it's phenomenal that this thing exists. Is it? Am I going to be as rigid as Chris Copleen and be like not fun to play? This game definitely, like I said, definitely has those moments where I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like this is a great payoff. To my struggle, but yeah, I'm getting a little long winded here. Yeah, I think I would recommend it. You definitely have to check it out.
Yeah. There's a million ways to play this at this point, and you should not play the inferior version. You can play some amazing, like the new versions have the old graphics and enhanced graphics, run at a better frame rate. Just go into it with an open mind. Who I was thinking about, like what kind of games this probably inspired. And like the world and stuff, definitely. You mentioned Shadow of the Colossus earlier. Did you ever play The Last Guardian?
I haven't. I'm, not a lot of people spoke too highly of it. So I just kind of, my hype, plus it took so long to come out. So my like hype for it kind of died down after a while. And then when it came out and people were kind of like lukewarm on it, I was like,
I think it's definitely worth playing. I played it last year and thought it was fantastic, but you will see some similarities, like especially in the location where the game takes place. It's like inside of a similar kind of like shell type thing. There's also like no real UI in that game. I think that it probably, I'm sure that Another World had a big influence on, what's his name is Fumito Ueda.
All right, Coury. Well, hey man, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this game. I'm glad you were excited to talk about it because
nobody else was.
No, I didn't think anybody else was going to pick this game.
Oh,
and I was really surprised that you put your name next to it, and that excited me because I was like, oh man, you have to have some. I feel like it's such like a niche type of game, and I'm like, okay, Coury's probably got something in his pocket for this one. And you did not let me down, my friend. So,
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Appreciate it. So, yeah, at this point, we talked about a little bit of everything you did on the internet, but in case for whatever reason either people forgot or they don't remember who you are, I don't know. It's a long episode. Who knows? Now's the time for you to plug all of your stuff.
All right. You can find me on My Life in Gaming on YouTube, where we release occasional videos and also stream every Sunday night from 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I also am one of the co-hosts on the Digital Foundry Retro Super Show, a newly launched podcast that just talks about retro games on the Digital Foundry channel. I've also started streaming on My Life in Gaming's Twitch channel. Every morning you can join me, play a relaxing game over a cup of coffee from 9 to 11 in the morning. I work from home, so if I don't have anything going on, I've been streaming. So that's been fun. You can watch me play through games that I've been meaning to play for a long time or just never got into before. And with the help of the chat, I've been able to find enjoyment in things like Pokemon and recently Kingdom Hearts. So it's
I saw you playing that this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's just like things that I've never really thought that I would ever play again. Like I tried them in the past and never really connected with them. But then I find that I really encourage like backseat chat, like, backseating in the chat where they tell me like, oh, you should use this and this. I think that that's a lot of fun. And it really made playing Pokemon, a series that I had never been able to get into, a bunch of fun.
I'm not much of a Pokemon guy. I've like fell in love with Pokemon and then fell out of love with it just as quick. So I got my DS over here. I don't know if you've been recommended other Pokemon games by
I've been
your listeners or anything like that, but Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, or Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, I think it's called. Whichever ones those are. Really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Those are the Gen 3 remakes, I think.
Yeah. Well, what I'm trying to get a copy of Soul Silver. because that's
Okay.
one everybody wants me to play next. But it's pretty expensive. You know, like that's one I have a lookout for. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to spend $400 on it, but I would be possibly
It's
opening.
$400. Oh my god.
If you have the outer box and the Pokewalker with it and stuff,
Oh,
it's like $400. But I would be completely open to like maybe spending like $180 for like one that comes in the DS case with the manual and stuff. I don't need the Pokewalker and stuff.
oh my god.
So
It's
if I can get
insane.
my hands on one of those, then I would be open to it.
I'll keep my eyes out for you at a Midwest Gaming Classic.
All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. And I appreciate you again, once again, giving your time. Did you do all your plugs?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off or anything. Yeah. Okay, cool. And yeah, of course, like, yeah, obviously I back everything you do, and yeah, great content. You and Try. I'll have Try on soon enough for Final Fantasy V. Once I'm done playing that. So I'll be a 1-2 cameo here on the show from you guys. So
yeah, nice.
yeah. So next week on the show, I am returning to a franchise that I haven't talked about since the very first year of the podcast. So this is going to be a nice throwback for the main quest faithful here. I will be talking about cavemen, dinosaurs, and Hudson for the very last time. I think this is my last Hudson game. As I play and discuss Super Adventure Island. So until then, make sure you're taking care of yourselves, and always remember, it's okay to like a video game.
Where's my damn tools?